How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today I want to talk about how much Cardano you need to hold, how many ADA tokens you need to retire early. Now, it may be less than you think, it might be more than you think. We'll go through that. I want to talk to you too about how you can become really wealthy with ADA, like how many you need to hold to be better than the average person on earth, or to have more than the average person, how much you would need if you want to be a top 100 holder, because that's actually lower than you'd think as well. We're going to go through a lot. Now, a couple things that we should say right off the bat. First of all, I'm not telling you to buy ADA Cardano. I personally don't even hold it. I did at one point, but I think there are better cryptos to hold at this point in the market cycle. But I also realize there are a lot of people that like Cardano, and I've done a couple videos on these recently for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I did get a lot of questions if I could do one for Cardano. So I am happy to do that. If there's a different cryptocurrency you want me to cover, put it in the comment section below. I'll probably only do large cryptocurrencies, so keep that in mind. But I do want to say that, again, I don't hold Cardano. That's nothing against Cardano. I just think that right now I think Bitcoin dominance will go up. But also I realize that at some point there's always a price you should be willing to pay for an asset. So if Cardano falls 20, 40, 50% and there's not good reason for it, I might be willing to go a lot heavier in Cardano and actually buy it up. Now, we also have to take into account some price action as well. We'll talk about those assumptions. We'll lay them out here, but I'm not going super bullish. There's this article, the reason why ADA will hit $10,000 and much higher. This is from 6 years ago. I'm not that bullish. Even if you like Cardano, I think you should temper your expectations, because that would mean that basically if you have $40 worth of Cardano, you'd be a millionaire. So I want to be careful about being too bullish like that, but I'll lay out my assumptions. You can judge them if you think that they are valid, and if you think I should change the assumptions, let me know in the comment section. Before we get started, I will put the Ethereum video and the Bitcoin video on the end screen. And if you want to see future videos like this, hit subscribe, turn on that bell notification. Also, if you want to know what I'm buying and selling in crypto, you can check out the link to the Patreon. And I also made a good amount of money from selling options this week. If you want to know how I do that safely, you can check out the Patreon. There's also a link to Webull, which is the app that I do the trading on, and they'll give you a ton of free stocks if you just sign up and deposit any amount. So I'd highly suggest that. It's a great platform. Now, first of all, we have to know that when we get further down the list, right, there's more risk. So Cardano has more risk than Ethereum, more risk than Bitcoin, in my opinion, but a lot of people still like it. It's got a very strong community. It's still a large cryptocurrency. It's worth more than $10 billion, and it's been around for a while. So those are all positives. They do move slowly. They just got smart contracts over the last couple of years. Some people like that because it means that they don't break things. They are very consistent. Some people think that that's what's putting them behind, is basically they can't grow an ecosystem because they're slower to adopt new innovations and slower to move than other cryptocurrencies. So you have to realize that. And this video, again, is not trying to tell you to be bullish or bearish on Cardano. It's just for the people that actually like Cardano to get an idea for how much you'd have to hold. As we see here, Cardano's at 40 cents basically right now. The market cap's at about $14 billion. The fully diluted market cap is closer to $18 billion. So they still are inflating the supply, basically not with any team tokens, nothing like that. It's just with some of the rewards, some of the staking rewards, as you can see here. So that is good that they aren't just unlocking a lot of tokens like a lot of newer cryptocurrencies. Now, before we go into some of the numbers, I think we should talk about the assumptions. Basically, we're going to have staking rewards of 1%, and we're going to assume that you are going to stake. So right now, the staking rewards are around 3.5% to 5% a year. You'll get rewarded in ADA. But I want to be more cautious because as time goes on, the staking reward should become less and less, I believe. And also, we're going to assume that maybe some of the year you take some of the tokens out. Maybe you are just a little bit cautious and you want some liquidity. So staking rewards 1%, and we're looking, again, 10 years down the line. And then we have 5 different scenarios. Coasting fire, lean fire, traditional fire, fat fire, and filthy rich fire. Fire stands for financial independence, retire early. So basically, coasting fire is when you get to a point where you don't have to invest anymore and you can just let your assets appreciate for some period and then you can retire. So basically, we're going to assume in Coasting Fire, you get enough money in Cardano, or you get enough Cardano tokens that you can wait for 25 years. So invest up until 2033. Then you can just wait for 25 years. We're going to assume at that point that Cardano is a pretty mature asset and only grows at 8% a year, 8% compounded annual growth rate for the following 25 years. And then you can go into traditional fire, which is spending $100,000 a year. In the lean fire example, we're going to assume by 2033, you gain enough Cardano to be able to spend $50,000 a year and not have the Cardano go away, basically not deplete your investment. Then traditional fire, $100,000 a year in annual expenses, fat fire $250,000, and then filthy rich fire is $1 million of annual expenses. So how does this all break down? What are the different scenarios? Well, a lot of it's going to depend on how high you think Cardano is going to go in price. So we're going to say this first assumption, and keep in mind, you have to believe that Cardano is going to be like in the top 10 or top 20 cryptos in the next 10 years. And keep in mind, we are in a bear market. But in this first scenario, we're going to assume that Cardano gets to its all-time high again of about $3. So not a very bullish scenario, thinking that it's basically just going to stay around at the same all-time high for the next 10 years. But there are some cryptos that never reached prior all-time highs. So we have to keep that in mind, that it still has to continue to develop, continue to gain traction as an ecosystem. The next scenario, $9. So I realize that seems like a lot. That's about 3x from the prior all-time high. $20, $40, and $80. Now, this is the fully diluted market cap at all of these prices. So fully diluted market cap at $80, very bullish. That's like a 200x from here in the next 10 years. That's crazy. Keep in mind, in the 2017 bear market, we went down to about 2 cents. Then we went all the way up to $3. So that's 150x in one cycle. So it's not impossible, but keep in mind that the numbers are bigger. This would put the fully diluted market cap around $3.6 trillion. That's very high. Now, there is a scenario where this could happen, right? If Bitcoin moves up to gold's market cap, that would be around $10 to $15 trillion. Let's say Ethereum does the same thing, right? It's still the main layer one, but then Cardano kind of lags behind. Maybe it's a fifth of the size of Ethereum by then. Well, that would put it around $80. So there's still a scenario where that could happen. It's very bullish though, let me say that, but there's still a scenario where that could happen. And let's say you want to hit Coasting Fire. Let's say you're looking and Cardano is going to hit $3 in price in 10 years. Basically an 8x from where it is now. Well, you would need about 97,000 Cardano here today to get up to the point where you can just coast. Now, the numbers are a little bit confusing on that as to like how that works out, how it will just appreciate by 8%, but it'll make much more sense in these scenarios. So let's go with lean fire, right? You think Cardano is going to about 8x in the next 10 years again. You'll need about $1 million in Cardano if you want $50,000 a year. And the reason I get to this is basically a 5% safe withdrawal rate. In Financial Independence Retire Early, the movement, they go by the 4% rule, basically saying if you have a portfolio of index funds at $1 million, you can take out $40,000 a year and you'll be safe. The assets will appreciate enough and you'll get dividends to be able to replenish that $40,000 you took out, and then you'll be able to continue to do that year after year. Now, I'd set a 5% safe withdrawal rate because of the staking rewards of 1%. Keep in mind there's higher volatility in crypto, so depending on how you time this, you could be much wealthier and you could take out more than 5%, or if you time it wrong, you could have to take out less. So we're just going to assume you can take out 5%. If you have 333,000 tokens at $3 a piece, that would be $1 million. And that would cost you around $100,000 now, a little bit more than $100,000. We'll show a little bit later. And then we can go through the other scenarios. And depending on, what you think the price is going to go to and which of these different retirements you want, you'll need different amounts. And I believe in diversification as well. I'm not just saying to go put, 25,000 ADA in your wallet. I'm not saying to do that. I believe in diversification. And if you have just enough to buy 25,000 ADA, you should probably still consider diversifying. Just my thoughts, but you can see as the price goes up, you need less and less tokens. So the cost of 25,000 Cardano now is about $10,000. And if it 200x's, right, you could probably take about $100,000 out a year and be fine. Now, I realize that's still a lot of money for a lot of people. I realize that. Keep in mind, you do have 10 years to accumulate, but what if we want to be a little bit more aggressive, right? We think that Cardano is going to do a little bit better than this previous scenario. Maybe we can take out 6% a year, or maybe you're assuming that maybe you have another 1% in staking rewards, so 2%. Well, you need less then. So instead of needing 25,000 Cardano in the traditional FIRE example where Cardano goes to $80, you only need about 21,000 because again, you can take out more each year. Now let's break down some of the cost today. So if you wanted, let's say you wanted to get up to this coasting FIRE, you think Cardano is going to go to $3, right? You need 97,000 Cardano. The cost of that today is about $39,000 at 40 cents. Now this may change by the time you watch this. Lean FIRE, you need about 133,000. And if you want filthy rich FIRE, you need $2.66 million worth of Cardano here today. Keep in mind, this would be assuming you get up to a $20 million portfolio, right? It's not going to be easy to hit a $20 million portfolio, especially if you think Cardano is only going to 8x, which is still a great amount of appreciation. That's crazy. But no one's saying that that's going to be easy to get there, right? To get $20 million and spend $1 million a year just on Cardano. Now, if you want traditional FIRE, you think Cardano is going to hit $20 per, and I've been saying per share, I believe, but per token, you need about $40,000 here today in Cardano. Now, if we get into that more bullish scenario where we're doing 4% withdrawals, well, instead of $40,000 worth of Cardano, you need about $33,000. Now, keep in mind, if you time this right, I'm not telling you to go try to time the market, but if you do time it right, you can spend a lot less. Like we got down to 24 cents in this bear market just a couple months ago. We got down to 24 cents. And if you're able to time that, you could spend less. So instead of $40,000, you could spend $24,000 to get to that scenario of traditional FIRE if Cardano hits $20. That would basically be 100x. Now, if you look at the prior bear markets, you think this is crazy to be able to get this many tokens. But if you look at prior bear markets, it kind of it becomes a lot clearer how you can see a lot of price appreciation in a short period of time. For example, in the 2018 bear market, 2017-2018 bear market, Cardano went down to 2.5 cents. So at the peak, if you had put some money in Cardano, and let's say you bought $17,000 worth of Cardano at 2.5 cents, then you sold at $3, you would be able to retire. Traditional FIRE, you'd be able to take out $100,000 a year basically in tokens. Now, keep in mind that is if you sold and then you put it in something else, or if you wanted to ride out the storm, but you would have had a lot of money. You would have had about $2 million worth of Cardano. So if you are willing to invest in bear markets, that can be a very good time to be buying assets like this. If you had bought, let's say you had just bought $25,000 worth of Cardano at that 2.5 cents, and then it goes up to 20 eventually in the next 10 years. Well, you waited about 15, 16 years. And if it goes up to $20 and you had bought $25,000 at the bottom, well, you would be able to spend $1 million a year based on these numbers. So it's crazy. Keep in mind, though, you don't need $20,000 worth of Cardano, $50,000 or anything like that to be in the top, in the top holders in the world. So right now, the Cardano supply is around 35 billion. The total supply in 10 years, assuming a 1% increase over the next 10 years, I've been looking many places, and it's hard to figure out exactly how many tokens there will be in 10 years. The max supply is 45 billion tokens, but this is not real clear. I looked at their own website. It's not real clear. It looks like the staking rewards continue to get less over time, but some people say it's going to be 100 years. So it's unclear when the total supply is going to be out there, but let's say it increases by 1% over the next 10 years, 1% a year. The population on Earth now is around 8 billion. The population in 10 years is It's around 8.7 billion, assuming a normal amount of increase. Well, to have more ADA than the average person, you need more than 4.4 ADA. That's how it averages out. If you take the total supply divided by the population, so that's the average. The average person can have 4.4 ADA, or about $2 worth here today. So that is kind of crazy when you break that down. Now, eventually there won't be staking rewards, but instead it'll just be transaction fees. Keep in mind, you'll still be able to earn rewards from ADA, from staking your ADA at that point, or from having ADA, basically. You'll be able to still get rewards, but it will become more difficult. Now, I wanted to show how much Cardano, or how many ADA tokens you need to be one of the richest wallets on Earth and in the world. But this is where I typically look, and it breaks down kind of how many tokens you need, how many crypto tokens you need to be in the top 5%, 10%, that kind of thing. This is the BitInfo charts Bitcoin rich list, but unfortunately, they don't have an ADA rich list or a Cardano rich list, but I did see a website where it shows the top 100 wallets. And basically, you can see the top wallet has about 1 billion tokens, which is only about $400 million worth, which I realize only $400 million, right? But still, for the number one wallet, that's not as much as I would have thought. And if we scroll down to the bottom, to be in the top 100, you need about 50 million ADA, or about $20 million. So I'm kind of surprised it's not higher, but if you had $20 million worth of ADA, which I realize is insane, that's a lot of money. But if you had that, you'd be in the top 100 richest wallets. So that's kind of crazy, but that would put you in the top 100 wallets out there. There are 3.6 million holders, maybe more if you count some of the exchanges, but 3.6 million holders. So there aren't that many people that hold Cardano or hold ADA compared to the world population. Keep that in mind. Only about 1 out of every 2,000 people on Earth hold this cryptocurrency. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Do you like this kind of breakdown? Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.